Welcome to the Living Ageless and Bold podcast. Each episode, I bring you amazing women who inspire, educate, and share their experiences and journeys along the way. So grab a glass of wine or a cup of coffee, find a cozy spot, and let's relax and have some fun hearing what can be accomplished after 55. Hi, everybody. All right, I broke the rules just a little bit for this podcast. Our guest isn't quite 50, but she's so close. And her story is just so amazing and inspiring that I really, really wanted to bring her on and have her share her journey with us. So Robiar Smith is, she actually went to college, has several advanced degrees that we'll talk about. And she's now in the pest management business. And I am dying to hear how her whole journey went to get her there. And then she has something really exciting. She's the first ever at Home Depot, but I will let her tell you that story when we get to it. So welcome. I'm so glad you're here with us today.
Thank you so much for having me and breaking the rules.
Right, I know, but you're so I read your story and I watched some of your media coverage. And so we always like to share the journey. How do you get, especially encouraging and inspiring, because we do fail a lot and we do have to pivot. And, you don't wake up at 50 and you're successful. You've had a path. So your parents encouraged you to study, right? To go to college, go to school. So tell us a little bit about growing up, your childhood, and then those next steps.
Yeah, so pest control and pest management has been in my family for over 40 something years, 44, 45 years. And so it's always been around me. And as you stated, my family was huge on education. And so I that's what I chased. I went and got the degrees and went off and taught in IT and in corporate and became a professor. But pest management was still at home. And so my dad is like, listen, you have to take this exam. And I really think that it will be good. And I took it over and over and over again. And I want to focus on pivoting and knowing when to shift and change, because that's the most important part, is that once I passed the test in 2016, we've been off and gone ever since. The fastest growing pest control company owned by a woman in the pest control industry, and so now we have a product line as well. So I'm extremely grateful that I knew how to pivot from corporate IT to now an entrepreneur.
And I did read, and you kind of brushed over it, but I do like to highlight our failures. But it took you a while to pass that exam, right?
Yes, I took it over and over. I took it 4 or 5 times, because each pest control technician has to be licensed with their state. And so this is not something that you can run up on. And I think many people, when they think of pest management, it's just really something that's kind of downplayed. But we are licensed through the Department of Public Health. So it's a really serious test, and we're dealing with pesticides. So I took it and I then passed it. And then about the second, third time, it got kind of personal because I'm a professor, right? I'm like, oh, wait, what is going on? And as I start to take the exam and try to pass it, I fell in love with it. So it was one of them things, don't give up. And it's been one of the most rewarding things that I've done by not giving up taking that test or not passing it and have to take it 4 or 5 times.
But I'm trying to imagine you as a little girl with your dad being in the pest control business. Were you as a little girl, were you ugh, there's a mouse or a rat or a termite or Did that ever gross you out, or were you all in when you were a little girl and then you just went a different way and then, came back to the family business?
It's indirectly, because I didn't know, right now to this day, listen, I work with men, they're 250 pounds, 6 feet, and they'll see a rat and still jump to this day. You just never get over, the surprise of the rodents or the pests that you're dealing with. But thinking back, I was just so proud to be around my mom and dad, and my dad working hard. And, he just made it look so fun. He was like a superhero. When he came on the scene, people had issues and he was solving their pest problems, and they felt so good after he left. And I can remember that feeling back then, and I quite didn't understand it. And now, fast forward to now, when we come to your home, we're superheroes. We're here to change it and make it better and make the environment better. And so, yes, I think it's been in me. It just, kind of had to come full circle, you know?
Well, right. And you said, so what were you teaching? What were your professor?
So I was an IT professor. So I was teaching CompTIA 801, 802 certifications for anyone that's in the IT field that's like entry level to get into IT. And any entrepreneur classes, how to build business plans, how to scale, anything under my MBA or Master's of Information Technology, I was equipped to teach. And so, yes, very technical to now. And it was amazing. I miss my students.
Oh, but you've grown this company quite a bit. So when your dad had it, it was just your dad, a couple employees?
So really the surprising part is my dad's been in the industry, but he's always been a technician. So he trained other guys to go off and work for bigger companies and never started the business. So that's why it's so near and dear, because I started the actual business and it was just myself, my husband and him. And then now 7 years later, we're over 30 plus employees and now we have products in store and he is still going on jobs to this day. Like he loves to be in the field. He loves what he do.
Oh, that's so great. And I read somewhere too that you're expanding. So you're in Chicago or suburbs of Chicago and one or two other cities you're now going to?
So we have 2 locations in Chicago. We're now in Indiana as well. And then we're looking at a 3rd location somewhere with some sun, some Florida sun and things like that, right?
And you're going to go run that office, right?
Yes, absolutely. And by law, you can't just go anywhere and open up a pest control business. Like you have to be well equipped to deal with those pests because different places have different pest issues. The climate is different, the environment. And so you really have to be educated before you can just go open up and get rid of pests.
Oh, I know. In Florida, my dad lived there. And in the dishwasher, you'd open it. It'd be, I guess they're called water bugs, but it looks like a giant roach. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And different snakes, I'm sure. Like Florida would have poisonous snakes and then, different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, their wildlife is really at a higher scale than here in Chicago and in Midwest places.
See, I'm trying to tell everybody how hard that test was. You have to know all these things.
It was extremely hard because you have to study the life cycle. And then you have to study pesticides, which is introduced to our food and things on a daily basis. But it's really the public safety. We have to be very careful on how we apply these things.
And so let's talk about pesticides because you created a product.
Yes.
And as someone who's an inventor, I get so excited, and especially women. So how did that even evolve that you wanted to do that? And then how did you get into Home Depot, which is so amazing?
How cool, right? I'm still pinching myself. So being a technician, we go into people's homes and we see so many things. And with bed bugs in particular, people pay thousands of dollars to get rid of bed bugs. And they don't know they have them initially. That's the tricky thing about bed bugs. So you'll just walk around and think maybe you have a rash or something, you're just itching. You're not knowing until after the fact the bed bugs are in your home and you literally have to sometimes throw away all your furniture, get rid of all your things. And so we decided, how can we get ahead of the curve here? How can we get ahead of the 8-ball? And so we decided to say, why don't we come out with something where in between home visits, barbecues, and hosting for holidays and people who travel for work, what if we can give them something that can protect them to and from? So when they go home, they're safe from bed bugs and we save them tons of money down the line. And we introduced Bug Strike to the public and we received a great response as a result. And then here's Home Depot calling me like, hey.
Oh, they called you. You didn't even have to pitch them.
No, I did not. I thought it was
amazing.
Right? I did. We sat on the phone for an hour. They were telling me, trying to prove to me it was not a prank.
Wow. So is it like for traveling, do you have like a little portable that I can take to my hotel with me just in case?
Yes. So I have a 3-ounce TSA approved. And so that's the one that you can take with you and you can travel with. And then I have a 24-ounce for the home. So you can, so this is my 3-ounce. And you can.
It sounds like you need to get to somebody on the Olympic committee since Paris is like overrun with bed bugs, and get someone to sponsor that goes to all the athletes.
Oh, that's all they've been doing is just tagging me like, we need your products. And so it has increased more, even there in Las Vegas. I don't know if you got a chance to hear some of the bed bug activity there, but I've been getting a lot of calls.
Oh my God. So you actually, it's almost like, are you a chemist too, or you just kind of had a team that put it together?
So it was a team that put it together. They had a proven track record of getting rid of similar things like this. So I teamed up with them and we introduced the product to the masses. And then from there, that's when I got the call from Home Depot that this is amazing. It's like no other. And even when they reached out to me, we didn't know that I would be the only woman to own in the store. We didn't know until days where we were kind of finalizing everything that we were like, wait, we don't think it's anything like this in the store. So it wasn't anything we sought out to do.
Right. And what a great story being so first woman owned products, first Black woman owned. I mean, if you're the first woman, you're like, you are breaking all kinds of barriers.
Yes.
And you're a beautiful woman, which I always love that when, and I've been fortunate. I have another woman that I interviewed here. She runs a limousine service, and it's like one of the biggest, limousine bus companies. And she's a woman. She actually bought the company. She started it with her ex-husband, and when they divorced, she bought the company from him.
Oh,
she
nice.
ran it.
Yeah. Huh?
But she built it just like you did. They had, a couple employees, and now they've got a fleet.
How amazing! How amazing!
So I love it. So what is your vision? Franchises, more products?
I think the vision is to make this thing a household name. We have so many other bug sprays that is just your knee-jerk reaction to go to. And so just the representation to be able to just stand in line with those and just also share that space and say, hey, we have something that we can offer and it works. It's eco, it's scent and stain free. You could travel with it or you can use it at home. RB Pest Solutions has really become really great at becoming a one-stop shop. We have the services-based business, we have retail, and now we have products. So all different layers that we offer you to make it a very convenient user experience.
So what else? We had, for the first time ever, we had a yellow jacket problem this year.
Wow.
And I don't know, I have a friend who's a landscaper. He's like, Christina, stop taking food out there. I'm like, I do not have food out here. I finally realized I had to wear a black bathing suit. I couldn't wear like a bright one because they were attracted to that. They loved my pink toenail polish. But I looked at my husband, I'm like, we can't go outside. I mean, they were dive bombing us. Yeah. So we bought, which probably isn't eco-friendly, who knows what, but these bags that we put out there just so we could even go outside. Yeah. But I would much rather know if there's a resource where it is eco-friendly and, you can have these products. So what else do you have besides bed bugs?
So we have mattress covers as well, because if you notice, everything that I'm going to introduce to the public is about preventive. So mattress covers goes on the mattresses are expensive. They are so expensive. So you have to protect them. So we have mattress covers that you can take on and off and wash. It's nylon, but those are great detectors of allergens and bed bugs. Along with, we have peppermint oil, like gallons that we kind of sell as well. And it helps deter pests from your home. So if you're one that likes to sit in your backyard and entertain or just have a good time, I have eco-friendly products that you can spray to create a perimeters to kind of deter your wildlife or your rodents and things like that. So peppermint oil, bug strike, and I have some other exciting things coming towards 2024 spring.
Are you going to tease us a little bit or no? Can we?
Yeah, it has aloe vera oil in it. It has aloe vera in it. So, it's good for the skin.
So it's good for our skin. Exactly.
Yes. Yes.
So do you find it difficult, now in this whole work environment and post-COVID and finding employees, you have all these big plans, this expansion, and you're doing this amazing job. Are you running into any problems getting people to work?
So we initially have, I think COVID kind of put the world on a pause, right?
Of course.
But pests didn't pause. So we were working throughout the entire thing. So we social distanced, but they increased. So when the world opened back up, when people were at home, they noticed that they had pest issues that they didn't realize they had. So residential went up and our commercial went up. So we worked during COVID. And when the world opened back up, we had to kind of get really aggressive with our approach. Now things are returning to normal. People are looking for work and building a great team. And what I've noticed with my team, and I think we've done great lately, is creating leaders inside of there, encouraging people to actually be in leadership positions. And we have titles for the sake of hierarchy and organizational chart, but really I work for my team. My team doesn't work for me. It's my
I
goal
love
to
that.
provide vision and a mission for them and give them the tools necessary to be leaders, to be thought makers. And so I think as I kind of start to do that, I start to encourage people to be the best version of themselves, and they're sticking around. So I love it.
What about franchising? Since you have this great concept and now you have all these products that you could kind of package all together. It sounds like you have an incredible business model.
Yes. I've been getting approached with that. And I think with the right legal team and understanding what franchising looks like, I think that will be in our future. I think right now the goal is to continue to make RB a household name, kind of tweak a few things so that way when it is a turnkey, and remember, I'm an IT girl at heart, so I have to go back to the systems and try to create a software around this thing that I think would be innovative for the pest control industry. Once I can turn it into a turnkey situation, I'll feel very comfortable on franchising.
Yeah, good for you. And even maybe white labeling your products to other pest companies.
Absolutely. I think that would be so amazing to do. And it also, again, continue to encourage people to get into the industry because it's so overlooked. But you can't close on a home. You can't open up a business. You can't do anything transactional without pest control. Nothing.
Right.
So when you think about it, it's essential. And so my goal is to spread the word about it, that this essential business that kind of gets overlooked will be here for hundreds of years to come. And it's a multi-billion-dollar business.
It's never going to go anywhere.
Not going to go anywhere.
Those critters aren't going anywhere.
It's recession proof for sure.
So on Easter Sunday, I always do Easter baskets when my kids were little, and I would do a jelly bean trail. And my sister and her husband came to visit with my niece and nephew. And my brother-in-law was teasing me like crazy about it. He's like, "Oh, that's so stupid. Why are you doing that?" I'm like, no, it's so cute. So we get up the next morning and all the jelly beans are gone. So I am certain that my brother-in-law is playing a joke on me and has taken the jelly beans. Yeah. And he's like, "Christina, I swear I didn't do it." I'm like, "Come on, Jeremy. I know you did." Right. Well, months later, we find an old piece of carpet that we'd saved when we built our house that was all rolled up.
Oh, goodness.
We probably had 100 mice in there. Like you've never seen anything. So I wish I had cameras to see them coming to get all the jelly beans. My husband's like,
the jelly beans.
Oh, I'm sure they pulled them all in the walls and everywhere. My husband's like,
jelly bean station. It was like a buffet.
They were calling all their friends. Everyone was coming over
here.
I mean, I have 4 baskets going down 2 flights of stairs in my basement. Oh yeah, it was. But like you said, it used to be a golf course and now it's woods. And when it's cold, guess who comes inside?
Food, shelter, and water is what they need. Just like us. Yeah, just like us. They're just like us. So that's why I encourage homeowners to walk your home and your perimeter seasonal, just to make sure there's not any entry points. Start at the front of the door, walk around, seal up entry points. Make sure that you get pest control at least once a year or twice a year. Seasonal, I recommend, because different seasons do bring on different pests, but inspections are key. And then the holidays are coming. Think about that Christmas tree you put away, and then a year later you go back to it. Statistics show that Christmas trees have thousands of little bugs in there because people leave them. So that's why you can use bug strike on your Christmas tree and spray it before you bring it up the stairs, or some type of peppermint oil, because it lay dormant in the dark for 11 months. And so it's things like that we kind of like to give tips to customers for traveling and happy holidays. They love undisturbed dark places.
Oh, I'll tell you another story with my rodent story. If I lived in Chicago, we would be working together. My father passed away 30 years ago. And back when it was still okay, he had given my mother a mink stole, like a real mink, which you really don't wear anymore now, but it's an heirloom. Yeah. So I had it in a dark closet. Well, would you believe that that little mouse jumped down and ate a hole in it
I
to
bet.
make, he had a mink bed.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was devastated.
Shelter, you got, listen, between the carpet and the mink, that's like the Ritz-Carlton for these rodents. You all are just housing them.
And don't forget the jelly beans.
Yes. Like, oh, they love your place. It's a memo
Oh.
out in the rodent family that we're gonna go over here.
You could use me as a case study.
Yes,
I met this woman.
can.
This is what you do not want to do. And well, the other thing I love that you're doing is, and I love when I see this in industries, encouraging women to go in these male-dominated fields.
Yeah.
I met a woman who had a roofing company, and it was all women employees, like all women.
I love it.
It was fantastic. And you think about, who's meeting the pest control person? Probably the stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
And when you have these women-owned businesses for those kinds of things, I know the husbands feel better, and I'm saying in a stereotypical house setting, but you feel safer when it's a woman. If you're a woman, that woman knocks on the door, then
it's a touch and a magic that we bring to service-based businesses that I think are so key, and it makes us we catapult up to the top with it. I mean, I can come in your home and I'm here to do an ant job, but then I'm giving you ways of, it's about placement and how I'm doing things from a soft perspective, and it's from woman to woman, and it's really received well. Even the men, they love it because they are like, sometimes can be so right and left, and women know how to sometimes color gray and say, hey, have you thought about this perspective, or place it here and eliminate this because this, and you have beautiful flowers. How don't you spray this with that? And it's a soft touch, a magical touch that I think the pest control industry needed. They needed the space lift. And so I am here to do that.
I love it. I love it. And you're encouraging young women to get in. And I'm on the marketing board of my alma mater, and we're talking about universities that, these kids are graduating from high school, and the cost of college is so expensive that they're looking at it in their lifetime. Do I get a bachelor's degree, or do I buy a house?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the house has a lot more promise when, especially knowing that there are industries like yours that, you have to do the certification. You obviously have to be trained and know what you're doing, but you don't have to pay $20,000 to $40,000 a year for 4 years to get a piece of paper.
Yeah. It's really introducing the trade as early as possible. And when you mention pest control and the pests, you do get squirmish. So I get that it's not for everyone. But we wrote a children's book. It's called Cody Blackman. It's on Amazon. And the author is RB Smith, which is, my husband, which is co-owner. And what he does is he goes to the schools and he reads to the children this book. And it introduces them to the industry in an indirect way. And they fall in love with the moth and the different metamorphoses, and how do they go from here to here? And it's really fascinating. I think if we learn to work like ants and bees do, I think the world will be a better place. They work together seamlessly. They're very amazing at what they do and how they build nests and things like that around your home, and homeowners don't even know they're there, and they're right there. It's fascinating. And so our goal has been to introduce it and change the way that people perceive this essential business. It's an amazing business. Really, it is.
And again, reminding people that I remember talking to my dad about this years and years ago about, because, your parents want you to marry well and do this and that. I said, oh, well, what if I came home with an electrician or a plumber? He said, that's great, because everybody's going to always need them.
Yes.
You always need plumbers. You always need electricians. You always need pest control. And you're right. I think getting women into these industries that have been so predominantly male, and look how smart you are. Look at what you've done for the business.
Yes.
Side of it.
It's just by being yourself, right? It's about, for all these years, this was one thing. And so it seemed fit for me to pivot and change into something different. But it's also something that's been right. It's like my first love. You know how your first love is right there all the time, but you're dating everywhere else?
Right.
I know, he's right there by you. That's what pest control has been, is really finding out what's been around all this time that you think you couldn't monetize from, and change it into a great business model something essential that's not going to go anywhere. You can pass down to your children. It's just
Right.
super amazing. So I encourage people to just really think, kind of lean in on their gifts that's been around all this time and just find a way to create some processes and systems around them so that it can be lucrative later on down the road. And you're not working hard or small. You're not working harder, but smarter as you get older,
Right. How proud are your parents of you?
Oh, goodness. I mean, my dad still runs around as a technician and he does jobs. I can't sit him down, but he's so happy. And my mom, she transitioned. She passed in
I'm sorry.
2021, but she was able to see the trajectory of where we're going and what she birthed. And so I'm extremely grateful she was able to be a part of it in such a short period of time. So that's all that
I
it's
love
about,
that.
is making my parents happy. That's all that this is about.
And
That's
I
it.
love that. How old is your dad, if you don't mind me asking?
My dad is 68. He's 68
Okay.
years old. So he's still a young man. He's running around like he's 22. And,
Good
it's
for
about
him.
that part. I'm like a sandwich. I have my parents, my dad, and then I have my husband and my children who work with me. My twins are 21 and my oldest is 22. And they work right here in the company with me. And so
Oh, I love.
it's rewarding because it's third generation now pest control. And it's just, how
And
cool is that?
that's amazing. And
Yeah.
what do your kids do? Like, are they technicians? Are they running the business? Different ones doing different things based on their strengths?
Yeah, absolutely. Different
Yeah.
ones doing different things. They're licensed. So one of them just got licensed in the pest control industry. And so I'm excited for her. So they can go on jobs and be technicians. They work anywhere from HR to quality control, customer support. Them being with me allow them to understand entrepreneurship journey. And so they're still in
Yeah.
college as well, but it allows them to now, you could sit in a classroom and get that applied part. But then once now you have a family owned business, you can take those skills and apply them immediately. And so
Right.
they've been able to really have an advantage of the direction that they want to go in. So the goal is that they don't have to, be in the business. They can just they can work on the business, not in the business, as they get older and move forward. So that's
Right.
the goal. That's the goal.
All right. And I have to ask, did your daughter pass the test in less times than you did?
Yes, we sure did.
Bragging rights.
She did. She was like, "Mom, yep, she passed it." And when so it took her. Did it take her 2 times? It took her 2 times actually. So
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. This is a test you cannot just run up on. But I said, just go at it again, and she did it, and it was great. So yeah,
So you said you've got some new products coming out.
yes.
What do you envision? What's your big picture for this?
My big picture is to help homeowners and people on the go with a bug type of situation. The goal is to give them solutions while they travel, and the typical homeowner products that can help them eliminate spending thousands of dollars with pest control down the line. I want them to continue to utilize RB Pest Solutions, but I also want to give them seamlessly affordable products and services from house to house. We want to change pest control one property at a time. So that's what we're
I
doing.
love it.
That's
I love it. And you have this very trustworthy aura about you. I know anytime you have service, people come. And again, it could be the woman thing too. Like you,
yeah.
I mean, it sounds terrible. And I'm not a male basher. I don't come on here and do that. I promise. I love men.
The world runs because of women. I'm just going to I'm sorry. I just have to say it. We're the best. We just, but it's also, I want people to understand they're in good hands when they come to us. We care. We literally care. You can go anywhere and get pest control services, but the fact that you've given us a call, we want to see it from start to finish, because we want you to be able to say, we got rid of your issue. We don't get, we don't want to put you on contracts for a year and you don't see us or you don't need us. We're solution oriented. So that's why I picked solutions.
Solutions. That's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes.
Well, I end every episode with 2 questions, but one, you're not there yet. So we're going to skip that one.
Okay.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Oh, goodness. I see so you are looking at history in the making. In the past 7 years, I've been able to do this in 7. So I can only imagine in 10 years that I and my company will be a household name providing pest control solutions and products to the world. And I really, truly believe that is the vision that the universe has given me. And so I'm just going to be obedient and go out there and continue to do the work. So, yeah.
I love it. And let's get you to the Paris Olympics, and you will be a worldwide household name.
Yes. It's going to happen.
So wonderful. So great to spend this time with you. You are truly an inspiration. I love that your kids are involved in your business too, and you're inspiring to so many women. So thank you so for joining me.
No, thank you. I appreciate you so much. I thank you. Thanks for breaking the rules.
It was so worth it.
Yes.
Thank you for listening or for watching this episode of Living Ageless and Bold. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit subscribe. And if you like the episode, I hope that you will give us a great review. You can also head over to livingagelessandbold.com and sign up for information, inspiration, and exclusive opportunities for us, women over 55. Thanks for listening. And remember, no matter what you do, keep living ageless and bold.